Welcome back, everyone. This is the Everyday Investor Show, and I'm your Everyday Investor. Today, we are going to talk about the clash of two financial titans, M1 Finance and Vanguard. I'm currently using both right now, and I could tell you that each brokerage has their own pros and cons. I'm going to be going over the quirks and features of each brokerage, and then I'm going to be giving you an investor score. I hope some of you car guys got that joke. Let's start off with M1 Finance. M1 Finance is pretty new to the game, along with the boom of all the new investment platforms that have come out recently. The real trump card that M1 Finance has over their competitors is their financial pie. With this pie, they make it really easy to visualize how your investments are divided. And what's pretty cool about M1 is that you can create your own pie percentages and then have M1 automatically invest your money every time you make a deposit. This means that all you really have to do is select investments that you want to buy into up front and then simply let M1 take care of the rest. And if you don't feel confident in choosing your own stocks or ETFs, you can also select from a wide variety of pre-made investment pies that M1 provides for free over here. What I really love about M1 is their user interface. Their website is not only aesthetically pleasing, but also really easy to use. For example, right when you log in, M1 displays your pie as well as an easy-to-read graph that shows your market gains and losses. Now you could click through each tab to view your daily, weekly, monthly, or even yearly performance. And if you scroll down, you could view my pie. And as you can see, I have my pie set up for different investment sectors that I invest to every week. And if you ever want to change these percentages, all you really have to do is select the Edit tab. When you make changes, M1 doesn't sell off your assets. Instead, M1 will try to rebalance out the percentages you selected after every new deposit. Another awesome feature that M1 offers is fractional shares. Instead of paying $1,700 for like an Amazon stock, you can buy a fractional share, and you can still be invested into companies that you normally wouldn't be able to buy into unless you had a lot of money. This is really amazing because M1 automatically reinvests any dividends that you gain. The reason why this is an important feature is that the compounding effect that it has on your portfolio. Any dividends that you gain are automatically reinvested, and then you could put these to buy even more fractional shares, which in turn helps you generate even more money. Another cool feature of M1 is the Research tab. If you click right here, it's going to pop up news articles related to finance as well as 3 of the main graphs such as the S&P 500, which a lot of investors are always looking at. Now, with all the great quirks and features of M1, there's definitely some downsides. I think one of the biggest downsides of M1 is that there's only one trading window per day. This means that the stocks you buy will not be executed immediately, but rather you have to wait until around 9 a.m. before the order will even execute. This means if you miss the trading window for the day, you have to wait until the next day before it even work. And to my understanding, M1 has to do this because they offer fractional shares. And in my opinion, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. On one hand, you could buy fractional shares, but because they offer fractional shares, you can't perform quick buys. It also kind of makes sense that M1 has to do this, and I kind of speculate that M1 would have to own some of their own shares of these stocks themselves to even offer these fractional shares. But honestly, M1 isn't really a platform to do swing trading. M1 is for investors who want to hold assets for the long term. And if you want to swing trade, you can just do so on Robinhood. The second downside to M1 is, I think, their customer service. Since M1 is still a relatively new company, I get the impression that their customer service team is having trouble keeping up with the influx of people coming onto their platform. I've sent a couple emails to M1 with questions about my account, and it usually took them a few days to even respond. However, they always responded and helped me solve my issue. But despite all this, I still think overall M1 Finance is a great platform for long-term investors. Let's shift our focus to Vanguard. Vanguard has been around for a long time and is generally known as the reliable old-school way of investing. I think the key component of Vanguard is the fact that they're well-known and established. For the most part, Vanguard isn't really going anywhere. If you just do like a quick Google search, you could see that Vanguard has over $5.3 trillion in assets under management, and is the largest provider of mutual funds and the second largest provider of ETFs. And because Vanguard is so established, I feel like investors may be more confident investing through them. Newer companies such as M1, Stash, and Robinhood are still relatively new companies, and there's a bit of uncertainty of where these companies may be in 10 years. Now, I mentioned that Vanguard is the reliable old school way of investing, but that's also a huge downside about Vanguard. With M1 and their innovative ways of investing, Vanguard is starting to have some serious competition. Even companies like Robinhood offer free stock trading. If you take a look at their user interface on their website, it's really outdated and old school. Their user interface is kind of difficult to use and understand. And when I first started using Vanguard's website, I found it to be not very intuitive. And if you take a look at these graphs right here, they take a while to even update. Sometimes they don't update for a few days, which is pretty annoying because I want the most updated information when I log in. Vanguard also doesn't offer fractional shares, so any dividends that you gain, you can't automatically reinvest until you have enough money to buy another stock or another ETF. But with M1, any dividends that you gain is automatically reinvested and put into work as soon as possible. Take a look at this pie chart. It's really vague and doesn't really show exactly what assets are in each category. If we go ahead and switch into the graph section like this, you can see it's not a very accurate graph either. In fact, it's pretty vague altogether. It doesn't really show the daily dips or increases, and it's pretty slow to update too. But despite all this, I have to say once you learn the ins and outs of the website, it's really not that bad. But I really wish they made some kind of user interface update. I know I'm giving a lot of criticisms about Vanguard, but when you have easy to use platforms like M1 and Robinhood, I'm kind of left spoiled by how awesome their UI was. But I digress. What I really enjoy about Vanguard is the ability to buy a wide variety of Vanguard ETFs. If you click here and then you view the long list of their ETFs, you're hit with a lot of information. Let's say if you're interested in this ETF right here, VTI, you can click on it and Vanguard offers a lot of information about each ETF. What's great is that they give very specific information such as risk potential, 10 largest holdings, and even percentages of each holding for the particular ETF. And then if you click on the price and performance tab here, you can actually lay over graphs and compare this ETF to say an S&P 500 graph, which is pretty cool. Not only that, many of their ETFs offer really low fees. If you take a look at this one, they only charge 0.03%. And if the market is open, you can execute these buys immediately. Vanguard really offers to users ways to study the ETF in depth before they even buy into them, and that's one of the greatest assets of Vanguard. Overall, I think you can't really go wrong with either platform. Both has their pros and cons and their quirks and features. And I think that's all I got for you guys today. If you guys liked the video, smash that like button. And if you guys want to see more content from me, consider subscribing. I also created a Facebook group where you can discuss finances, investing, and entrepreneurship, and I'll just link that in the description below. And as a general disclaimer, this is not financial advice, this is for entertainment purposes only. See you guys later.